Good morning everyone. So in this video I'm going to analyze the live price action for EU for any day trading opportunities. So only EU today, a bit of a late upload in between kill zones, so it's about 10 o'clock here, and we'll see what the rest of the day might bring, what my bias is. So starting off on the daily here on EU. Alright, so far on the daily we've started off quite bearish, right? So the morning has gone pretty bearish since the London Open, at least. We're well below the previous daily low, and we're going into now fill this daily imbalance fair value gap. So we could possibly see some support form around here for the rest of the day. If we close this gap, we'll see what there is on a lower time frame as well that may support that. But overall, in terms of structure, as I said on Monday, we are making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. So the way I see it, we have this leg here from this previous weekly high to previous weekly low. We've pulled back to a premium, which I also spoke about on Monday, and we have rejected that area and found some resistance so far. So this is possibly a structural weak low. That previous weekly low in terms of this leg here would then be seen as weak. And that might mean that price is going to continue to go and make a lower low, targeting previous weekly low and the sell side liquidity resting below there. Similar, of course, here on DXY, we have that high, higher low, just about, and we may go on to break through that previous weekly high with that bias. So that's enough for the daily. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Let's see what that looks like. So here on the 4 hour, getting more detailed with this price action. Of course, it's similar to the daily, right? So we have that daily leg from previous weekly high to previous weekly low, which is also this 4 hour leg, right? These are like the internal highs. I see more like 1 hour legs. Putting that aside, from this high to this low, we have our discount and our premium. Of course, we pulled back to that premium. We swept above this order block here, right? Swept it for the buy side liquidity, and then price eventually broke down. So to repeat, it's the same as the daily, possible structural week low here down at the previous weekly low, though a lot more price action may happen between now and then. I'm not sure if we'll go immediately for that. So as we said, there's a daily fair value gap around here as well. So there's a 4 hour imbalance, right, which we've now filled going into this little order block here. So we may start to see that support form around this area. That may lead to pullbacks. We've still got 3.5 hours before this candle forms, but we have possible order blocks forming here that may have some sort of imbalance today. Don't want to read into that just yet. And then above we have an order block and imbalance here as well. So this area here could provide some support to pull back further, maybe only to here, possibly up into this space here, right, where this lower high formed. We'll see that a bit more clearly on the hourly. So for the rest of the day, that's what I sort of see in terms of bias. It's a bit mixed. I see us being bearish, though those more ideal bearish areas may form around here or up here. At the moment, we may find support down here where the higher time frame imbalances are on both the daily and the 4 hour, leading some sort of pullback for the New York session. Here on DXY as well, we have these same imbalances, which has been mitigated here, and also some buy side liquidity above these highs taken. So it could lead to some sort of pullback back down into this zone here where this 4 hour order block is, with imbalance as well. So we'll see how that plays out. So in the short term, we could see the support form in this area, right, and give us some pullback opportunities for a long, or we could wait and be patient, right, to continue a possible trend. So I think that's everything on the 4 hour. Let's go down to the 1 hour. Let's see if that can clear things up in terms of our bias. So on the 1 hour here, on that 4 hour chart, down into this area where we are now, we also had an order block with imbalance. Same's repeated here on the 1 hour. We have an order block, so I've drawn this in here, right, where we're kind of getting this support showing now. Price is decelerating from all of that downside momentum. Now there is some SMC divergence at the moment, say from this low to our current low. Whether that will stay there or not, I'm not sure, but it's present at this time, right? You can see we've swept above these highs here on DXY, just about swept above it. So we've got some buy side liquidity there, and then we've got our 1 hour order block, 4 hour also order block imbalance area. So like I said, we may be finding support here, which will respond to that pullback to, you know, a couple of areas. So we have that higher area up here, where we have the 4 hour order block. Though within that zone here, we also have 1 hour imbalance and order block there. So we may mitigate around here. So what I would want to see obviously is if price was to pull back to here, then form structure and break down again to look for those shorts. But like I said, on the 4 hour, we had that possible nearer resistance that may happen. And on the 1 hour, of course, we can see there's an order block there, imbalance here. This is where we swept that buy side liquidity this morning, right, on London Open above Asia, and broke down here, making that new internal lower low, right? We had that leg, little pullback, buy side liquidity, breakdown. So same as what I said with this zone, I would want to see the same thing come into this area here to prove that resistance, right, and see it break down again on the lower time frames. So that's where I would be looking for my shorts from, preferably. Okay, I wouldn't want to chase this price. We'll see what New York brings. If it was to continue breaking down, there could be some continuations, but I'll explain that on a lower time frame. So we've got the same imbalance order block area here on DXY as well. So we may pull back to those zones after taking this buy side liquidity here, SMC divergence, and support POI. So these are the areas I'm going to be looking out for. This one first, of course, for some continuations short. We'll see if that comes into play today. And like I said, we may get those longs from this zone here, which I'll also keep an eye out for. So let's go down to the M15. Let's see what some trades may look like for today. So nothing special in terms of the price action, I believe, this morning. No trades for me. You can see here we have our Asia range, session range here for our kill zone, and then into Frankfurt here we've swept above, right, where that X is, took that buy side liquidity and just broke down and continued breaking down. There was no break of structure below here and then pull back for any entry, right, because there's an M15 order block there. So no trades this morning. We just came down to our next draw on price, right, our POI with imbalance on the higher time frame. Like I said, I'm not sure this SMC is going to hold. It may be even better for a long trade if it doesn't. So what I would be looking for the New York session to retrace up into this area possibly is for price to give some sort of structure down here. Some sort of high around here would be nice so that we can use it for a break of structure, sweep below these lows here, right, and preferably below this 1 hour low here to give that sell side liquidity sponsorship. So then if we can get momentum into the market, break of structure above some internal high, may happen on the M5, and then we get our corrective pullback possibly to our order block imbalance POI here to then trade back up towards this first zone here, which would be a good draw on price. So sell side liquidity swept from below the lows here, break of structure above this internal high here possibly, imbalance and order block left behind here with some inducement, right, which would be sell side liquidity above, floating above our order, and we'd have our stop loss just below the lows, aiming up towards this area here. My TP would be at 3%, and that's what it would look like for me. So I hope that's clear. It's an against trend and order flow move, of course, but I think with some sell side liquidity sponsorship from lows and then a clear internal break of structure, right, to the upside with momentum, it may be worth the risk, just not the highest of quality, of course. We also have that buy side liquidity sponsorship as well from these highs on DXY, which would be on side as well. So that's everything. I hope that was clear. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.